Hello and welcome to Giant Mess, a super sloppy sports and entertainment comedy show that's hosted by a giant mess. That's me, the real cinch Neal Lynch. On today's episode, it's a bit of a free swim. You know what that means? No rules, no structure, pure pandemonium. I'm going to tell some stories. It's going to be some life stories. I'm hoping to get through the summer of 2025. Yes, that's how long it's been since I last talked about my life, and there's a reason why. The best, the biggest, the brightest, the boldest stories of summer 2025. And let's catch you up. Next couple episodes, it's going to be me trying to catch you up on what the frig is happening personally and professionally. So without further ado, let's get started up in here. All right, June 2025. Whew, what a month. I had a hearing test. That's how we're going to kick things off, with a hearing test. You might, if you've been a long-time listener, viewer, follower of the pod, you know that my hearing sucks. I don't know if I'm legally, technically hard of hearing, but I am hard of hearing. My ears have been whistling Dixie for a long ass time. I can't remember the last time that I didn't hear a wee sound. And it'll come up out of nowhere. I'll just be sitting there chilling, relaxing, maxing, playing it all cool, shooting some b-ball outside of the school, and just out of nowhere, like, I'll actually be serene. I'll be like, peaceful, calm, cool, collected. And then it's just like it just comes out of nowhere, and like sometimes louder than that. So I was like, all right, am I going deaf? It's not like I go to a lot of concerts, right? I don't attend many musical events. Love live music at the bar. Love live music at parties, small parties, gatherings. Do not like concerts. It's just like, not a huge fan of concerts. Don't know why. But I do like outdoor music festivals. I don't know. I part of me thinks I might be claustrophobic. I've never really put two and two together, but I try to give people their space. And sometimes people don't want to give me that space. And it's like, are you okay with me rubbing up against you? I'm okay with it if you're okay with it. It's like, because my love language is physical touch. So I went to the hearing doctor, and I get in the office, and there's a woman there, and I'm thinking, oh, she's like an intern, or like just starting out, a resident, or she just looked very young. She had a nose piercing, nose ring, and I was like, so you're like kind of just, you're still navigating your way to becoming a doctor. It's like, no, she is the doctor. She was super cool. It's just, it throws you off a little bit when you're older than your doctor by a significant amount. And then you look, and I imagine it's the same thing that happens through, patients in the ER when they see my brother-in-law, and he's just like covered in tattoos. It's like, is this a robbery? Like, did you beat up the ER doc, take his clothes as a disguise, and are you robbing this emergency room? Is this a hostage situation? So I went because I went to the ear doctor, one, because the tinnitus was driving me up a freaking wall, dude. Two, because I keep getting these ads, or I saw an ad somewhere on social media maybe, for this device called the Lenire device. It's supposed to be able to treat tinnitus. I was like, in my head, I don't know why I read that as cure tinnitus. I guess because that's how badly my brain wants to cure this thing. Although, strangely enough, tinnitus is your brain playing tricks on you. So maybe my brain doesn't want to be fixed. Anyway, go to the hearing doctor. The hearing in my left ear is slightly worse than in my right ear. And on a scale of 0 to 100, I did, basically, to walk you through it, there's like her office. She's sitting behind a desk, kind of an L-shaped desk. And then there's the booth, a soundproof booth. And it looks like, I don't know if this is the right analogy here. I guess if you're a Howard Stern show fan, behind the glass is Robin Quivers. Or the movie Game Show or Quiz Show. I think it was Quiz Show with Robert Redford, where like the contestant has to go into a soundproof booth and throw on the headphones. Something to that effect. That's what this was like, this hearing test. So I go in the booth, shut the door. Nice and calm and quiet in there. She's like, put on the headphones. I can hear her. She's like, I'm going to play some sounds. You raise your hand or whatever to let me know. Bing, bang, boom. Inside the booth is very odd too. How do I describe it? It wasn't like I should, in doing this podcast, I should be in a soundproof booth. I'm not. I'm in my bedroom, so that's why it doesn't sound as good as it most professional podcasts. I am amateur as shit. No big whoop. And so I don't have like, the egg, whatever, the foam on the walls and all that stuff. This soundproof booth that I was doing the hearing test also didn't have that kind of crate packaging on the walls that's supposed to deaden the noise or the echo or the bounce or whatever. Bounce, half an ounce. It was like I was in a little girl's room from the 40s. That's the best way I can describe it. It was like interesting choice of wallpaper. There's like random old-timey toys and souvenirs. I don't know. It threw me off. I was completely befuddled. But so she goes to the test. I get the results back. 0 to 100 scale. 0 being you ain't got no problems in life, bro. You are what we say, just friggin' skeeting down Easy Street. 100 is, can you even hear me right now? Can you even hear anything other than the freight train of your tinnitus? Toot toot, okay? Chugga chugga. Just lightning and the thunder, but just thunder all the time. So 100 is you're fucked. Like you might as well just, I think if you maybe chop your head off, the sound might go away, but not right away. I scored a 64, which it feels like a 100 sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. So for me to have a 64, which feels like slightly above average. So I'm like, I guess in terms of tinnitus, it's above average. I don't know. But it's like, how is this only a 64? And it makes me think, like, if you do get a 100 on this bad boy, how haven't you murdered everybody? How have you not gone on a spree, my guy? Just homicidal. How? I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tolerate that. I can barely tolerate it now. And so it's like, and this is what I have to go back to. Like, it's not, I mean, I went to clubs. Okay. I went to clubs in college. Okay. I don't even think it was freshman year. I don't even think I went sophomore year, dude. I think it was strictly junior and senior year. And then the year after that, yeah, I'd say like for 3 to 4 years, I would go out to the club. Okay. Meaning like, the music is at unreasonable levels and no one can hear anyone because you're not there for conversation, my guy. You're there for some grindage. And I'm not talking about a submarine sandwich from your local hero shop. I'm talking about butt cheeks on crotchal regions. And that was 3 years of my life, just hoping that I looked good enough for a woman to back that truck up. Anyway, I always used to watch my buddy approach women because I can't approach women even now, even right now, can't do it. 20 some odd years later, but we would always go to these clubs, and I'd be like, my whole game, if you can call it that, revolves around or is focused on conversation. I have to rely on my sense of humor to make any kind of inroads and gain any kind of trust with a lady to proceed to that next level that we're all striving for. So when you're in the club, it's like you can do a lot of physical comedy, pratfalls, shit like that, funny faces, but it just doesn't carry as well for me than the verbal comedic arsenal. So it was always funny watching my buddy approach women because I just couldn't do it. But he would just kind of like dance near them. Hopefully he gets like them to look once and he's like, okay, just got a free ticket to ride. And then he'll slowly kind of make his way while bopping his head like towards her backside. It literally, man. I do wish I had those contact lenses from Black Mirror where you can like record stuff. You just go to like beep on the side of your temple and then you can just record whatever you're seeing. I would have loved to record that mating ritual. It was a mating ritual. Record that and then like edit it into a very good looking, very hilarious like nature documentary, wildlife docuseries. Because like Sir Richard Attenborough, Morgan Freeman, you name it, get a top level narrator to narrate this little song and dance. It's literally a song and dance. It's a ritual, and it was hilarious to watch, and yet he had a very high success rate. I'll just say that. I mean, he's a good looking dude. Also, that helps. But it was just like, how did he pull that off? He just kind of like slowly like was nodding his head and just moving around. I even thought the nodding of the head was a bit excessive. Because it wasn't like kind of like cool Joe Cool swag kind of head bob nod. It was like like kind of like almost like a chicken or like peacock. Just like and I was like, oh man, you're blowing it. And then all of a sudden I look away, get a shot, get a drink, look back, all over it. And it worked. And it's just locked and loaded and ready to go. So good on you, man. You did it and I didn't. I didn't take the shot. You took the shot. So so that brings me back to my hearing test. Oh my God. The roads we go down on this pod, truly fantastic. Yeah, I can imagine. It's not like I lived by an airport. Like, how did I damage my hearing this much? And what do you have to do? Like, I imagine you see a lot of documentaries or stories about rock stars and them having to go through what they go through, going on tour and having to play, especially if you're like heavy metal, like hair rock, glam rock, stadium arena rock, anything that's like your fucking lead singer is just blasting it, and the guy in the bass and the guy in the lead guitar, they're shredding their tits off, and that drummer, he's holding nothing back. How do you go on tour? Like those guys go deaf, right? Even with the earphone, the little earplugs that they put in, they're going deaf. So it's just mind blowing that I didn't really do much of that other than this 4-year stretch where I went clubbing. But then I did go out to bars in Hoboken for a long time when the music was just so fucking loud. So yeah, okay, yeah, maybe I did assault my ear canals and eardrums. And this is what I get. Tinnitus. Tinnitus sucks. Anyway, this Lenire device, this is where the sales pitch comes in. So it's, I at this point I'm unemployed. I do not have insurance. I didn't get COBRA, which if you've ever been laid off or got a severance package or lost your job involuntarily, not due to reason, you always get like as part of your goodbye note, like, oh, by the way, just to let you know, you can get COBRA for $10,000 a month. It's just like, oh, cool. Yeah. And now that I don't have a job or any income, I'll sign right up for that heavily, outrageously expensive COBRA plan you just pitched to me. So This Lenire device, saw the ad, went to the ear doctor, got the test, 64 to 100 on the scale. Left ear worse than the right ear. This is where the sales pitch comes in. It was $300 to see this doctor for the appointment. She then goes into the sales pitch. All right, now to talk to you about Lenire. Goes to this huge brochure, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, great. And I'm just thinking, like, the fact that there has not been a price mentioned at all for this device, like there hasn't been a cost. Like I just haven't seen it anywhere in the brochure, in the email, as she's talking, and I was just like, can you just tell me how much it is? So this device that treats quote unquote tinnitus, it's like it looks like a vape, so like almost like a vape pen. You put your mouth on it, and it looks like you're either blowing or I think you're blowing on this thing, so it almost looks like a mini recorder or flute or whistle, and you blow into it for a set amount of time. I forget how long. I think it was like 30 seconds to a minute. And then you rest, and then you have to repeat it a bunch of times, and you have to do that either every day or every week until you die. Okay. That kind of sucks, but it's got to, like, if I do it, does it go down to 0 and then it just kind of like resets, after like a week? It's like, oh, it's back again. So then boom, it goes down to 0. And she's like, no, so this doesn't cure it. And it's not a one-time thing. And you have to do it for she said at the time, you have to do it for like 6 to 8 weeks. And then you'll come back in, we'll test you and let you know how much you've progressed. And I'm like, and then what? And she's like, and then you do 6 to 8 weeks and you can come back. And I'm just like, So yeah, you're doing it till death. And she's like, and X percentage of people that have done this have experienced something like a 60% or 40% better hearing, like less tinnitus. I'm like, okay, not really loving this Lenire device so far, but how much is it? Just how much? Maybe I'll give it a shot if it's like, I don't know, $30 a month or something like that. $4,300. $4,300 American dollars, US dollars, US currency, greenbacks, bills, lettuce, cash money. While unemployed, for me to blow into this thing how many times a day for how many weeks, only to not hear the whistle as much. Like I still hear it, it's just not as loud. It's like if you said to me, hey, take this vape pen, it's shaped like a dong, and you gotta suck it off for the whole world to see on a live stream for an hour straight, but it cures your tinnitus and you have to pay $4,300, I'd be like, where the fudge do I sign? Let me get the camera. Do you have a strong internet connection? Because we're about to live stream this gag 5000, whatever they friggin' call me. Daddy Ericius calls them. Yeah. $4,300, that should cure tinnitus. That should take care of that shit. It shouldn't be like, oh, I can make it a little bit better for a little bit each time. It's like, oh my God. So yeah, I'm stuck with tinnitus for the rest of my goddamn life. It's pretty freaking cool. I still think there's a radical, and I think I asked her this. I was like, so is there like a more extreme radical approach I can take to this? Because if I'm going to blow $4,300 on this stupid device that's like super temporary, there's got to be something that's more expensive, like a surgery or like electroshock therapy. Does that work? Because I follow some comedians that have done that, but they've done it for like depression, anxiety, which check, and also check, ladies. I got that shit in spades. The electroshock therapy, like it, like literally rewires your brain, and I guess zaps the SADs away, which would be cool. But I also think that it could, like I've read somewhere that it could treat tinnitus. And I think the tinnitus is also caused by the depression, anxiety, or your brain. So basically, oh my God, your brain is anxious to fill the silence with noise. But why? I forgot why. Anyway, it's basically your brain. It just means your brain's a real a-hole, you know? The things that my brain has done to me. Like, yeah, you've done a lot of good. I get it. Thanks. But I think you're causing more problems than solutions. So, case in point, the ear doctor appointment was in Monroe, New Jersey. And that's where a certain ex-girlfriend of mine lives. And I can hear everyone groaning and sighing in disgust and scoffing, rolling their eyes, throwing up their hands, possibly getting very upset that I brought her up again. But this is what happens when you lose your job and you don't have a job for 17 months. Your mind goes to some really bad places. It's like, okay, just turn up the tinnitus like 10 to 15. You know what? Just do 25%. Actually, let's pump it up to 50% strength, maximum strength. Tylenol, please. So, yeah, that it makes you, because I don't know about you, but if I'm unemployed, okay, I'm not going on dates, right? So if I lose the job, like basically it was a really great timing where, I get dumped March 2024. I get laid off, mass layoffs August 2024. And then for 17 months, it's like trying to get a job. And knowing that dating's not really going to be an option. And it really shouldn't be an option. Because a date, like a good, normal, healthy date, where you're not trying to like ball out, but you're just going to just a nice place, past the health inspection, and it's got reasonably priced things, a date, a dinner and a movie, or dinner and drinks. That's gonna run you $200 minimum, $150 to $200. That date's gonna run you. That's the floor, my guy. So to think like, oh, I'm gonna date while I'm unemployed, and then, so what do you do for a living? Well, funny you should ask. I apply to jobs. Yeah, that's what I do. Rework my resume, customize it for every single application, and then I put together a cover letter that is tailored and personalized to that particular company I'm applying for. And I just do that all day. Oh, how much do you get paid to apply to jobs all day? Oh, you're not going to believe this. Nada. So, yeah, it's like that. The prospect of trying to meet someone dating, and inevitably every summer, that's what happens. Every summer. That's what ends up happening. It's just like, I go to the beach once, I see a bunch of very beautiful women in very revealing bikinis, and I'm just like, I gotta get the hell back out there. It's time to have another grand reopening. How many grand reopenings is this? Happens every summer. And then I sign up for these dating apps over the summer, and it's just like, you idiot. Like, I just paid for a subscription to Hinge Plus, and it's just like, you idiot. You idiot. Summer is the worst possible time to be on the dating apps. Worst possible time. Because no matter how you slice it, people are out there. They're mixing it up IRL, dude. At parties, at events, at galas, festivals. They're out and about, outdoors, outside, at the beach, at the pool, at the lake. They're somewhere where they either don't get good cell reception, or they're with a group of people, because people like to get together over the summer. That's the worst possible time to sign up for a subscription for an app. And guess who has two thumbs, has tinnitus, and has a bit of a psychological condition. It's your boy. You know? Yeah. So, yeah. This guy. I'm the guy. I'm the one guy who's foolish enough to pay for a subscription to a dating app during the summer months. Never do that. Never do that. I mean, unless you are just, if you are in your 20s, early 30s, you're kind of like in your prime, you're peaking, you will not look better than this right here. How you look right now. Take a look in the freaking mirror, my guy. You will not look better. Yeah, I guess get on the Tinder. Whatever the hookup apps are. Just get on there and just be like, bum, 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 bum. Rapid fire. You out, you up, you in. What you want to do? Want to be a baller, shot caller? So I get that. But in terms of if you're actually trying to find a girlfriend, I don't know that summer is the best time to be subscribing to a dating app. Anywho, so you combine unemployment with the what do they call it? The snowball effect, the domino effect, the avalanche of feelings that you get where it's and it happens, and believe me, I have a PhD in unemployment. So it's part of the perks of working in the media and entertainment industries. It's just no one knows how to run a balance sheet. No one knows how to project earnings correctly. And you're just at the whim of the audience. And when the budget time comes around, you take a look and you say, well, we need food. We need a car that needs gas. We don't need this subscription to this streaming service or go to this web, stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, when you're unemployed, you're not dating, and you those two things kind of are interwoven. Because you're like, man, if I just made some different choices in my life, I wouldn't be unemployed right now. I would not be unemployed if I just made did I need to major in film and media studies at a private research university where it's any other degree probably would have worked out for me? Yeah, okay. Did I need to go to a graduate program and get a Master of Arts degree that also didn't mean anything? And also, I can't even do the thing that I got the Master of Arts in? Communication? I stink at it. I absolutely stink at it. But yet I have a Master of Arts degree in it. So it's okay, I probably should not. That's another poor choice. And then you think about well, if I wasn't in the media and entertainment industry, I went to a different major, I got into another career path, I wouldn't be unemployed as much, and maybe that wouldn't affect my confidence as much, and I'd have more confidence, and I'd be able to go out there and know that, okay, I don't have to worry about what I'm spending on this date. I don't have to overly budget and tighten the belt and have to say no to fun friggin' opportunities, dude. It's if I made some different choices, yeah, would I be here? And so you just, that's what I do. I just go back and I analyze the hell out of things as if I can change anything. Dude, I'm on the wait list for a time machine. I'm on the wait list. But no, we all know the moral and the lesson behind time travel. It never works out the way you want it to. And, I wouldn't have, if everything led me to here, and the fact that I have my daughter, that's pretty cool because I love her. So, but good God, your mind takes you to some really bad places. It spirals. If I didn't do this thing at this job, maybe I'd still have it. Maybe if I pick this job over this job, maybe this, maybe this, maybe that, maybe that. And then you start thinking about the relationships, right? You have a lot of free time on your hands when you're not, applying rapid fire to every job under the sun, despite what everyone tells you not to do that. It's yeah, but it's to pin your hopes on these 4 applications when the probability of getting a job is like 0.00001%. It's like, nah, we gooch. I'm just gonna set it and forget it. Just turn on auto fire. So those things are happening, right? Analyzing past relationships. You know, what did I do wrong? And just remembering the good times, and like, it's bad. Your brain, my brain just short circuits and malfunctions. And it's like, if I had a job, wouldn't be thinking about her, right? If she had a job, would she have not stayed with me and been my girlfriend? Probably. So why am I talking about it? Well, in June of 2025, a full, how many months is that? 15 months? No. Yeah, 15 to 16 months later, after she dumped me on the car ride back from the airport, after I wrote that email where, you know, I was like trying to just like show her like, hey, this is all the stuff that you did, and then this is all the stuff that you did, and why'd you do this and then do this? After all that, and after watching, I think it was Bad Monkey on Apple TV with Vince Vaughn. It's a decent show. I mean, it's not like it's crazy. That episode took place in Key West, Florida. I was like, oh, the wounds. They're still fresh. And you just salted them. You just salt bayed my wound. So, you know, I had some libations. All right. I knocked some back. Maybe I indulged in an eddy. You know, I rode the bull, so to speak. I'm laying in bed, and I start writing out this long text to her. And I'm like, I'll just write it out. I'll get it out of my system. And that's how that's going to work. And I'm going to read it out loud and then delete. Only I didn't delete. I hit send. Oh, oops. And I immediately was like frozen in fear and in panic. And I was just like, how do I undo? How do I undo a text? How do I delete a text? And I just like panicked and didn't know how to do it. And I just had to sit in it and simmer, marinade in my shame. So yeah. Oh boy. Because I had a thought. I don't know what I was watching Bad Monkey, but there was something that happened in Bad Monkey, possibly, or another show or something. Just like literally, I can't begin to describe to you little things that remind me of her. And it's sad and it's pathetic because she hasn't thought a wink. Can you think a wink? She didn't even think a wink about me. She didn't lose any sleep. She's, I believe, not just surviving, she is also thriving. Running marathons, starting a food blog. You know, she got a job. It's just like, whoa, dude, your life really took off after you dumped my ass. So, am I Good Luck Chuck? The hit 2007 movie starring Dane Cook. If you're not familiar, Good Luck Chuck, he basically hooks up with a girl, and then the next guy she dates, she marries. And so women catch wind of this, desperate women who are desperate for the ring. The precious. They then flock to Good Luck Chuck to sleep with them so that they can then marry the next guy that they meet. Blah, blah, blah. It seems like I'm Good Luck Chuck, but like a sadder version where it's like, no, they didn't get married. Their life got a lot better. Yeah. So, ladies, line up. Come date me hot and heavy for 3 months and then drop me like a bad habit. Yeah, so I sent this long text. And there was a story, there was just a story that I remember her telling me, and I was like, whoa. You know, because I've been racking my brain trying to figure it out. We all know that long podcast where I asked a million questions, and I've asked a million more since then. But it was like, whoa, did I do that to her? And that's why on the trip I did that to her? And then that's why? So I just threw it out to her. Like, is that it? Did I do what you described to me in a story, in a tale? Whoa. And I was like, all right, well, that was dumb. I sent it. There's nothing I can do. I forgot how to delete it. She probably read it. Or she probably won't even read it. She'll probably just delete it. Be like, no, dude. She probably blocked my number. So she won't even receive it. The odds of her responding, less than 0. It's a non-zero. No, it's a non-zero. It's a 0. So I was like, all right, well, you did it. Whatever. You got out of your system. You got, like, now you have to just, like, dude, come on. It's been 16 months. She responded. The next morning, I sent it very late on like a Thursday or Friday night. She responded early in the morning. And it was basically, she just was like, in case you missed what I told you in the car, I'm just going to like basically repeat what I said in the car. you know, just saying that like there were multiple instances where you didn't speak up or kept your opinions to yourself because you didn't want to upset me. That became more apparent during the trip. That led me to consider if we were invested at the same level. I think you were much farther ahead of me in how you felt about the relationship. So I thought about if would I ever get there, and I knew I wouldn't. My feelings would not progress. So the combination of you compromising how you thought or felt to keep the peace or make me happy, and me knowing my feelings weren't going to go further, or what led me to cut things off. So keeping things going wouldn't have been fair. So I thanked her for responding. I said, I really appreciate that. And said, I swear, I promise I won't reach out again. Sorry. It's just like, dear God. But basically a non-answer. It's an answer, and then there's a degree of truth to it, but it's like still doesn't jive, doesn't sit well with me. So from that point, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm no more phone. Or if I'm on my phone, like I'm going to open a Google Doc or the Notes app and just have at it and just go full bore into those. And that's what I ended up doing from that point forward. And, it's better than the alternative, which is like you don't want to text or call or email. You got to respect that. So, and there have been plenty of times where I'm like, wouldn't it be so romantic if and it's just like, yay, dude, idiot. So, yeah. I mean, I have this unopened Jameson bottle. Maybe I'll just like put a bow on it and drop her on her porch with a note saying Merry Christmas during Christmas time. It's like, no, dude, no. Bad thoughts, bad brain. It's like, well, what if she really does love cards? So maybe it's like, she didn't say don't write a letter to her and put it in the snail mail. It's like, no, dude. Idiot. No. There's the get back coach. We talked about the get back coach repeatedly in football. It's the guy who holds the head coach back, pulls him off the field. Get back. You're going to get a flag. It's like, that's what I have now. I have a little get back coach to be like, are you proud of yourself for having that stupid thought, that that atrocity of a plan that will only dig your hole deeper? You proud of yourself for that one? That little scheme you cooked up to win her back? Get back. So yeah, boy. And that's now been over a year ago. So maybe in 3 or 4 months. It's like a 16-month cycle, It's just like, well, maybe if I just follow her on her social media accounts again and start liking her posts. No. Bad thought. Get back. So, June was very heavy on the job interviews and applying to jobs and job interviews. And there were days that were like, there's 2 or 3 interviews in a day. And by the time I'm done, I'm like, and I'm not going to get any of those jobs. And I'm now exhausted and I'm now dumber and made everyone else dumber as a result of my answers. So I signed up for this seminar, Alan Stein. And I'm not going to bleep that out. That's the dude's name, Alan Stein. He has a seminar. I forget how I found it. It was probably through LinkedIn or some social media feed that's been listening to my thoughts. And so I signed up for it. It's a free seminar. And they do this thing where it's like, we're not going to mention, just like this friggin' Lenire device, we're not going to mention how much this thing costs. We're not going to tell you how much the program costs. We're going to give you all the benefits, and we're going to make you sign up, and we're going to talk for 2 hours straight, and we're going to have so many people talk about how wonderful it is and testimonials and all this shit. Give you a little secrets here and there, little breadcrumbs. And then we're going to hit you with the price at the very tail end of it. So it's almost like sunk cost theory, which is a fallacy. But like, all right, well, I've already been here and listened to this whole thing. I might as well listen to the price now. Anytime there's a long-winded, like you never see a price and there's a long-winded thing leading up to it, just know it's too much money. As soon as, like, if they don't list a price, you can assume too much money. And then if they're like, well, now listen to me talk for a friggin' hour straight about all the great things it does, just know whatever number you hear is not high enough. I mean, whatever number you think it is not high enough. And what you hear still catches you off guard somehow. It's just wild. So prepare yourself for when that happens. This guy's seminar, he goes through the whole spiel. He goes, and you get all this. And it's like, the claims that they make are fucking outrageous. And it feels illegal, but we live in a society. We live in a world where you can basically say whatever the fuck you want now in advertising, I guess. Or maybe the lawyers have gotten that good for corporations that they're like, they can massage the language in a way that's like, no, well, we didn't guarantee that. It's just amazing what ads are able to say now, especially online. I guess especially online. I don't know that you really see it on TV or radio or anywhere else, but like, man, online, the false advertising is fucking banar, dude. Like, I don't want to give any examples, but Jesus, $10,000. You know, you'll make 50 to 150,000 more dollars a year, which is just a wacky claim. You know, and all these other guarantees or whatever. If you sign up for the program is $10,000. But if you act now, and this is the part that always made me laugh when I talk about this seminar to people. But if you act now, you get $500 off. Yes, that's right, folks. $10,000 value, you get $500 off. That's $9,500. It's just like, well, okay. So like 5% off? Oh, yeah. No, I mean, that's a really great, thank you for that massive discount. I feel need now after hearing it decreased from 10,000 to 9,500. It's like, what the fuck is this? So you really can't beat that deal. I'm sure that really pulled in a lot of people. How could you not? I was asking myself, is this too good to be true? I mean, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't even know if he was like, I'll give you 50% off and you can sign up for $5,000 if I would have done it. I'm trying to think of the number that I would accept. I initially was like, oh my God, with every passing email or minute that went by in the video, it was just like, I can hear the cash register in my good ear. Like I can just hear it. I can hear the numbers going up. I can hear the numbers going up. Just like $5 to $10 every minute. And I was like, wow, this is, at this point, this feels like it has to, you would not put this much energy and effort and time into this stupid live stream if you didn't charge an exorbitant amount of money. So I was like, all right, it's got to be at least 4 figures, but it's probably going to be low 4 figures. And then I started, debating with myself. I still don't know the actual price. I'm like, well, if it's 2,000, over 2,000, no. But if it's under 2,000, and maybe I can ask about a payment plan. And then he hits me with $10,000. I was just like, boing! You got to be kidding me, dude. I got one number for you. Number 1. Yeah, that's not how you get asses. That's not how you sell tickets, dude. That's how you get asses in the seat. So, so my mother often talks over me and interrupts me, and I used to get really upset by that when I was younger, and now I just go, and now I just like it's like it. As soon as she starts talking over me and interrupting me with something, I pretend like I'm a deflating tire, or like I'm letting the air out of me. Like it's just like, and then I wait for her. And so she noticed that, and she complimented me on it. Because anger's been such a huge part of my life. And then I when I asked her what her honest assessment of me is, because there's one thing that job interviews will do to you, is they gaslight the fuck out of you. Like, I think gaslighting, people always thought like, oh, it was like a man making a woman think she's crazy, and then I thought I was gaslit by my ex. It's actually job interviews. That's where gaslighting started, because it's just like, oh, that's fantastic. That's great to hear. Yes, we will absolutely call you back, and we're going to have you talk to this person, this person, this person, and you should know by this date, and you're guaranteed. It's just the amount of gaslighting in a job interview is outrageous. And that's now, imagine doing 2 or 3 of those a day for 17. And then you'll understand my story that I don't think I'll get to tonight, but I hope to get to at some point this week or next. You'll understand why I got to that place in that story that I will tell eventually. But like, when you just keep hearing the same things and you feel like you absolutely rocked an interview out of the park, and then never hear from anyone again at the company, and then you have god awful interviews where it's like you feel like you botched the whole thing, and mid interview you're like, can we stop? I already know this is not going well. Can I stop? And then you have ones that, yeah. So it does a number on you psychologically. And if anyone wonders, like, I don't know, the people who always say fun employment, I'm like, what torture? That's fun to you? Are you Frank Castle, the Punisher? Yeah. So my mom, I asked so basically when I asked my mom for her honest assessment of me, I was like, most friends are gonna be too polite, or they'll try and make a joke and be lighthearted, and I didn't have a lot of people that I could turn to be like, give your honest to God assessment of me. Don't pull any punches. And my mom is really good at that, not pulling punches. She is brutally, radically honest. And all she could say was anger. Anger. Give your brutal, honest assessment of me. And she just said anger. Not like you're an angry person, or your temperament's not great, or you don't have a lot of patience, and stuff like that. It was just anger. So, as in, I get angry too much, and it's just ironic that she would say that, because if you know my mom, like I know my mom, known her for 45 years, she loses her shit constantly at the drop of a hat. Like, I remember vividly, like, if she's in the kitchen, she's cooking up something special that's gonna be delish. You hear like loud clanging and drop something, motherfucking Jesus. Like, if you told me like she was diagnosed with Tourette's, I would be like, yeah, that's not surprising at all. She uses profanity. He curses like a drunken sailor. So I wonder where I get my anger from. It's like, and my dad too, like, God rest his soul, R.I.P. But my mom will tell stories about, how the people at T-Mobile called the police on him one time because he got upset about, he thought he was getting swindled or cheated on his cell phone plan, which he was. I think everyone was. Like, I'm sorry, I had to pay by the frickin' minute. Like, it's a 1-900 number. and I can't carry over the minutes to the next dude. So yeah, so I guess the employees at the T-Mobile store had to call the cops. I mean, I have only seen him like really get angry, not even fly off the handle, just get angry and raise his voice. Like I can count on one hand, you know. So I didn't see it often, but you know, we're at a Santana concert at PNC Arts in Holmdel, New Jersey, dude. And he and my mom brought lawn chairs because they were gonna sit in a chair on the lawn. And I guess these people, younger people who have energy just coursing through their veins. I mean, I was 19 at the time, I think 18. They were standing up and they wouldn't sit down. And they were just, whatever. And I think they were actually, was this where they were blowing up condoms and handing them out? Like they were balloon animals, like condoms. It's like, I feel like you're wasting condoms, dude. Someone's going to get preggo tonight and it's going to be on your hands. You got to pay for this scout. You got to pay for tuition. So yeah, he lost his shit then. He was like yelling and like, sit down. Sit down. My wife can't see. Sit down. It's like, well, these are lawn seats. There are no actual seats. It's just lawn. So people are going to stand. But yeah, so it kind of runs in the family. It's, and so I'm trying to impart wisdom. I'm trying to help my daughter to not have anger issues. And I think it's working. I think what my teachings are actually taking effect, which is great. But it's also maybe genetic. And there's like if you believe in such a thing as generational trauma, maybe that's also going through her. She was diagnosed with anxiety recently, and I was just like, I fucking get it, man. I get it. I mean, the world, Exhibit A, the world, right? The world, everything that's going on in the world. Yeah, dude. And then B, you have me as your dad. It's like that. And you have your mom as your mom, who also has anxiety. So the fact that you have been diagnosed with anxiety, I don't think we're like, does that even make the paper, dude? Not even the evening edition. So yeah, hopefully she just doesn't have anger. Maybe the anxiety is like her trying to bottle the anger. And it's like, you don't bottle the anger, baby. Just start a podcast. Yeah, so I thought that was hilarious. My daughter lost a tooth. Tooth Fairy gave her $5. The $5 consisted of 4 singles and 4 quarters. Tooth Fairy, turns out, weirdly enough, doesn't carry a lot of cash on him or her. Don't want to assume gender. So yeah, 4 singles, 4 quarters from the Tooth Fairy. And the best part is she literally lost the tooth that she lost. Like, she lost the tooth, as in the tooth fell out, came out of her mouth, out of her skull, leaving a hole behind. She then had that tooth somewhere in her hand and then misplaced it somewhere, lost it. So she lost her lost tooth. She lost the tooth she lost. I was like, oh boy, we're in a tough situation. But I think she actually showed me a picture as proof. And you know what else is proof, Neal? How about you? She opens her mouth and you just take a look and see that there's a tooth missing. So I was like, I don't know, like the Tooth Fairy would be out of a job, technically, if you didn't leave a tooth and you didn't take a tooth. Like if you just kept writing him notes saying like, oh, I lost my tooth, but I don't know where it went. Like the Tooth Fairy kind of needs it as evidence, and it's like currency to him or her. So like I don't know if the tooth, I gotta look it up. But she did write a note to the Tooth Fairy explaining what happened, which was very polite and nice. And the Tooth Fairy I know he or she, very busy fellow or gal, got a big, heavy, tall order, a lot on his or her plate, on their plate. Because this is like Santa dude. Santa thinks he has it rough, dude. It's one night. One night. I know it's a lot of homes. One night. Now imagine not all the homes, but a lot of homes every freaking night. Tooth Fairy, no days off for the Tooth Fairy, dude. So I don't know. Debate. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm verklempt. You know? Tooth Fairy or Santa? Who's got it worse? Who's got the harder job? I say Tooth Fairy, and here's why. Santa's got tricks. Santa can strike in and out outside your bedroom. He's not going anywhere near your bedroom 9 times out of 10. He's into the chimney, presents, boom, out. In and out. There's the threat level, the danger level on that, not so great. I know he's a heavyset guy. I know there are squeaky boards, but not picture the Tooth Fairy. Understandably, Tooth Fairy wings can fly, so he doesn't have to worry about the creaky floorboards like Santa does. Got it. All right. Point Santa. Tooth Fairy has to then lightly pick up the pillow as to not disturb the person sleeping, snag the tooth, and insert cash under the pillow without waking the person slumbering on said pillow. I rest my case. Well, the Tooth Fairy took time out of his or her day, her night, busy schedule, lot going on. She's got to use her judgment. She's got to have quick judgment. He or she has to have quick judgment. And the Tooth Fairy wrote back, which I thought was nice. Okay? It's a busy person, and they wrote back. We went to Sesame Place. Okay? My mom, as a Christmas gift, got us season passes to Sesame Place, me and my daughter, for Christmas, right? The membership started like end of 2025, 2024. We went to like a brunch type thing in January of 2025, and I didn't go since then. Like, keep in mind, I can go. It's free admission for the whole season. So I decide we should go on June 21st, which is like, or June 20th, or was it June 19th? I think it was June 19th. It might have been Juneteenth. I decided to go to Sesame Place with my daughter, but we didn't get there until 3 in the afternoon. 3 in the afternoon. Take a frickin' shot in the dark. And that's foreshadowing. When Sesame Place closes, I guarantee you are wrong. 5 p.m.? 5 p.m.? Prime Meridian post? Mortem? 5 p.m. I would never have guessed that in a million years. I used to work at Sesame Place, and I didn't think we closed at 5 p.m. I just thought, oh, my shift's over. Have fun. 5 p.m., dude. We got there at 3. We had to leave before 5. We were there for 2 hours. And we spent the better part of an hour, I want to say 45 minutes, waiting in line for one water ride. That literally, it's the one where it's the 2 tube slides. And they are not long whatsoever. So many rides were closed. Like the big slide closed. There was a few other attractions that were closed. This water slide, it was like one turn. So I went to one in South Carolina. Oh, maybe that's the story I'll tell about South Carolina. Yeah, come on now, raise up. There's a water park in South Carolina that we went to, where there's like 2 slides, and it winds 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 and it's steep, And I mean, I actually got injured on that side, which is a story for another time. This one is, and I understand Sesame Place, it caters to a younger crowd. This one was literally, it's two slides side by side, and it's like one turn, and then you're in the pool. It's just like, we just waited like almost an hour for this shit. Just an hour. And they have this thing where this, if you pay if you're a certain type of member, because we were like the lowest level of membership. And I was thinking about, well, what, like, we don't need to have the highest level membership. Like, this is fine. Meanwhile, I get there and it's like, it's going to be $35 to park. And I'm like, say what? Well, if you're a silver or a gold member, parking's free. Would you like to upgrade? And I was like, how much is the upgrade? It's like, I'll just pay the 35 fucking dollars. So, and then, it's hot out and there are water rides. So it's like, we got to bring our bathing suit because we're going to get wet. But you need a locker. So it's like we go change into our bathing suit, store it in a locker, and then get wet, come back, dry off, change to our dry clothes so we can ride the other rides. $35 for the locker. It's just like, son of a gun. I've spent $70 and nothing has happened. It's fun. So then you wait in line an hour. So it's like we basically had an hour to ride the other rides, and we made the most of it. It was a good time, and took some really great pictures, some nice pictures, and then they make the announcement. Okay, it's 5:00. We're shutting down. Please exit the premises. So we're like, everyone starts walking to the exit, and then the employees start pulling down the gate to the exit, and we're like, we haven't left it. We're not Are we ghosts? I can see you. Can you see me? Like, we're still in here. We have to leave, please. And they were like, you need to stay here. I forget the exact words that they were saying, but they were basically saying, the employees were saying, our security was saying, you cannot leave the park. There is an active situation or something like that. They were like avoiding what was happening. But I guess the protocol for them is like, well, we don't want the crowd to panic. So let's just give them a super vague, nondescript explanation of what's happening. And I'm sure they won't badger us and barrage us with questions. I'm sure this is a foolproof plan. And sure enough, it's like people started getting angry. Every time they kept repeating, like, oh, we have to keep you here. There's an emergency situation. We have to keep you here. Something that affects, they're just not giving you any details whatsoever. And then so people start raising their voices and getting a little heated and getting a little flustered. And so then eventually, I'm like, well, they're not going to give me any answers, but I know who will. Twitter. It's like Twitter's a real-time shit. So I just started doing a bunch of searches on Twitter. I'm like, okay, Sesame Place emergency, Sesame Place news, Langhorne news, police news, Langhorne police news, just trying every search, combination that I can think of. And eventually, I see a post from some wacky breaking news account that's like not affiliated officially with any police department, stating that there is an active shooter at the Langhorne Mall. I don't think that's the actual name. Oxford Valley Mall. It's in Langhorne, PA, where Sesame Place is. It's literally right next door to Sesame Place. And yeah, it was like active shooter. And I was just like, okay. I didn't want to. So my God, what would I pay money for the footage of that? I'm not going to pay $4,300 for Lenire. Would I pay $4,300 to see the security footage of my reaction once I saw that there was an active shooter on Twitter? Not on Twitter. On Twitter, I saw that the news that there was an active shooter at the Oxford Valley Mall, because I immediately look around. I immediately go into secret agent security guard mode where it's just like head on a swivel at all times, looking around, but also not trying to make any sudden quick movements because I don't want anyone to see me and then start freaking out like, what does he know? What does he know? And I didn't want to be the one to break the news because it's like all I know is there's an active shooter. I just saw it, and I don't know like what So I don't really project security and safety. It's why I'm divorced. That's why I'm single. It's like women. It's every dating profile I see is just like, I want someone who's a protector who makes me feel safe and secure and stable and confident. I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm giving you none of that. So, yeah. So I was like, I'm going to keep this to myself. I'm going to try and mask my emotions, which always goes super well, especially at work. I always think like I have a poker face, and it does not exist. 404, error 404 does not exist. So people can tell what I'm feeling pretty easily. So I was like, all right, well, try to like be calm and then just slowly escort Bree away from the gate and behind this hut. I don't even know what this hut is. It's a photo hut, or what is this house? It's probably just like the water heater or something. It's just like you can't go in it, I don't think. So let's just, some people might say we hid. Fair enough. I'd like to say we shielded ourselves from bullets. But yeah, we're just behind this little shed, like this smallest shed. And there's no reason for anyone to go behind it. Like behind it is mulch and plants. There's like actually no room for you to stand or walk around it. So it's like that's even 10 times, 1,000 times more suspicious and conspicuous that I know something that I'm hiding behind a little shed, like an inactive, just decorative shed, than it is to just stand there and be calm. So, I guess action movie brain kicked in. I got rom-com brain that I deal with, thinking I can win back my ex. It truly is a Christmas miracle. Or I have action movie brain, where it's like I'm gonna like I'm gonna hide behind this shed, and then I'm gonna see the shooter approaching. I'm gonna take him out, like Mark Wahlberg on 9/11, dude. So, no, that's not the case. So yeah, active shooter, and they finally came around. Because people were getting hostile. There was one dad that was hot under the collar, like getting super hostile on like a fucking teenager, dude. Like this guy's probably in college, probably a sophomore somewhere. Yeah, Kutztown State or Westchester or Millersville. It's just like you're gonna spit all over this teen with like. You raising the volume of your voice is not going to solve this thing, my guy. I wish it could, But then eventually they're like, the security person or someone else came out and was like, who looks a little bit older, a little bit more authoritative, and just said in a normal volume, probably a little bit lower volume because they didn't want everyone to hear, that I see her talking to him, and someone, and it is a woman, I think, just immediately spins 180 and goes, active shooter, like just yelling active shooter all over the place. And I'm just like, you just completely, I don't know. I don't think that's the reaction that I would have. Because look how worried I was going to cause a panic just because I was like, because I was looking at my phone. Me personally wouldn't yell active shooter as if like, oh, thank you, messenger. People hear active shooter and I'm sure they're going to respond very casually, very calmly. And actually, sure enough, everyone did. It was like, I was expecting like active shooter. She says an active shooter. I was just expecting people to be like, ah, and just start running and scatter. And no, everyone kind of took it in stride, which is a little sad, I guess, Just like it's just we're desensitized to it, which sucks. Really sucks. It reminds me of, I just saw Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, and there's like a school shooting scene in that, and it's like it's heavy parody satire territory. And I was just like, oh, this movie's off its rocker, and I love it. But yeah, so everyone took it in stride, and then eventually, I would say like less than an hour later, it was more than half an hour, less than an hour. It's probably like 45 minutes. They opened the gates and they said, situation's clear. Or like something about contained, because that was the main thing, was like there was an active shooting. There's a shooting at Oxford Valley Mall. There's an active shooter, but the whereabouts are unknown. And when they said that, I was just like, he could be right behind you. And then eventually they're like, okay, well, the active shooter is contained. And I was like, you said contained very interestingly. You winked, you stuck out your tongue. Contained is not the same as like arrested. So I guess they must have cornered the active shooter, and we were able to leave. And then as we're leaving, my daughter, my daughter's not an idiot. She heard the person say active shooter, yell active shooter, and I'm like, thank you for that, Jewish mom from Westchester, New York. Appreciate you laying that heavy news on everyone out loud for the world to hear, including my daughter. So I was like, great. Now I get to explain active shooter to my daughter, who's 6 at the time. And so I'm like, well, some people get really angry and they get their gun and then they try to shoot people. She's like, why? Why would they do that? I'm like, some people are not mentally well, and they feel like that's the only way that they can get what they want. I don't know. So she's like, as she's learning about active shooter, the storm of the century rolls in. Plot twist, because I remember checking the weather and be like, it's gonna rain, but hopefully like we can get enough like good times before it starts to rain. And like it held off the entire time we're there, but then they closed the gates and we had to wait for this active shooter thing to be contained. And then I'm just gonna pull up the story real quick. The storm of the century rolls in. And it was like, I knew this was coming. I knew the rain was coming, but it was like winds. This is not gusts. Gusts sound like it was a strong breeze. Or like, woo, lifted up my skirt a little bit on that one. Like Marilyn Monroe over the sewer grate. That still blows my mind that was like, it's so hot. And it's like, but what's going on in that sewer? Ugh. It was a sewer, right? It was a great hot air. It's like such a funny, it's such a sexy iconic moment, or iconic sexy moment, and then you think about it and you're like, that's kind of good. So when so then the storm rolls in, and the winds, they are blowing, like the trees are, I mean, we're talking about tall, thick, with 3 C's trees that are swaying and getting blown, and their branches flying everywhere. And I'm like, again, final destination brain is kicked in, where it's like, okay, we were able to escape that death, the active shooter, and now death was like, you can't escape me. Here comes a deadly storm. So we managed to get through it, but like by the time we got onto Route 1 to get back to our home, it was like there was a massive accident, obviously, because people don't know how to drive in the rain. They think, oh, look at this. He's so pretty, makes the sound. Not knowing like the road is slick, dude. Like you gotta chill. Why did I just talk like Mario? I have no idea. Oh, and they never caught the guy. Oh, that's cool. That's super cool. I thought and this is what I mean by contained. Police are searching for a suspect who they say shot and stabbed a man at the Oxford Valley Mall on Thursday. Juneteenth would have been a Friday. No? No, it's just on the 19th. Yeah, the incident occurred at a SEPTA bus stop outside the J.C. Penney on 2300 Lincoln Highway late Thursday afternoon. A victim ran inside the mall for help, prompting a large response from police. Middletown Township Police later stated the shooting was isolated and the shooter and victim knew each other. Was it a shooting and was there a danger to the public because we had a shooter in the loose? Absolutely. Shooter fled the area immediately and is still at large while the victim is in the hospital. Dear God. Oxford Valley Mall is currently closed. June 20th, 2025. Or June 19th, 2025. So that's cool. So yeah, going from whew, don't have to worry about getting shot by a bullet, but we do have to get worried about getting impaled by a tree branch. Literally, the amount of anxiety that the Final Destination movie series has bequeathed upon me, has gifted me over the years. Thank you for that. Preach. So that was the active shooter situation at Langhorne, PA, Sesame Place. Had to explain an active shooter to my daughter. Had to go through, what can only be considered a plague with that friggin' storm. It was flooding, a car accident, branches flying everywhere. Like literally, we stopped at a couple red lights, and you could feel the car kind of sway from the winds. And I was just like, maybe we shouldn't have gone to Sesame Place. Two little quick stories. During this whole job interview process, trying to find a job, you find myself like if it's not like a crazy high level position where you're going to be a manager or an executive or whatever, it's not entry level, but like the next level up, mid level, where you're not going to be managing a person. They don't usually assign you. The screener is not going to be with like a very high level HR, screen representative, human resources, talent acquisitions manager, or whatever. It's not going to be someone who's like a seasoned vet who knows how to handle these things. It's always like someone who's like straight out of college and they have so much hope in their voice. They're like, your hope is contagious and infectious and you're giving me hope and I don't like it. Like your positive tone and attitude and how you've given me hope on this call, I do not like it. Stop it. And I can tell that you have to be 23 to 25 years old. There's no way you have seen the level of shit that I have in this war for an income, just to earn a paycheck. One of the interviews was with a fellow Johns Hopkins alumni. He was 7 classes below me. Yes, below me. So I was class of 02, he's class of 09. And he was like, you were a film and media studies major. And I go, yeah. Thinking that he was going to like roast me, And he goes, oh, so you were over in the barn? No clue what he was talking about. There are times where I'm like, did I actually go to Johns Hopkins University? I'm like, I know this place, and this place, but everyone else talks about all this other stuff. I just did like these 2 or 3 things that no one else did. You guys did all this stuff. You have all these great memories about school. I just know like Schnapp Shop was down the block. It's just like, and then that's pretty much when things went south because I think he started to put 2 and 2 together and he's like, oh, you're older than me, and you would be reporting to me. This is awkward. So he had no interest in reminiscing after that. Like he played football. I played football. We had the same football coach. I could have talked for a friggin' an hour about our football coach. He did not give single solitary fugaz. Not one. Not even a little bit of one. And I guess that's Johns Hopkins for you. I think the reputation that Hopkins had for a long time, and I don't know if it still does, is that it's cutthroat. And that people will do anything to get ahead. There was that movie, I keep referencing it every time I talk about Hopkins, but where like if your roommate dies, you get straight A's. So like the guys were failing, they didn't want to fail out of school, so they tried to accidentally kill their, or like they tried to get a roommate that was either severely accident prone or was suicidal. Like there were levels to it. Like, all right, well, we're not obviously not going to kill our roommate, but like, what if we just get a super accident prone one or super suicidal roommate like that dies? Then we get straight A's for the rest of the semester. There was some weird law or rule that I don't think actually existed, and supposedly was based on what was going on at Hopkins. And I'm like, looking back at my tenure at Hopkins, I'm like, yep, that makes sense. We will murder our own kind, no questions asked. So that's June. That was just 1 month. I was trying to get through the whole freaking summer, dude, and I only got through 1 month. So yeah, maybe I'll do July tomorrow night. Oh my god, back to back, you son of a gun. Yeah, because July is a little bit spicier than June. July had a near-death experience. Pretty cool. And then followed by a near-death experience. Also cool. I had a trip to Block Island. I had a trip to Lavallette, New Jersey. I had a trip to, what's the name of that friggin' town? Another Jersey Shore town, basically, but not like right at the beach. Chicago. What is the name of that town? Forget it. But it basically got back together with some old friends. People I haven't seen in a while. And it was good times. And it's always funny. I'll tease you with this. My guy, it is always funny when you see your drinking buddies who you've known for 20 years. You've seen them do some shit when they were single, okay? And even when they're engaged or married without children, you saw them do things. And then they have kids, and then you see them like discipline their kids for something, and then you're just like, dude. I feel like going up to the kid and be like, this guy? You're gonna let this guy tell you that? So that's coming up. Shrewsbury. Holy shmikeys. That's the name of the town. So it was a lot of just like hanging out with old friends in July, which was good, especially with the daughter. Even better, because then people can see, oh, you're not a complete degenerate. You're actually showing a little bit of responsibility, and she's still alive, which credit to you. You're 50% responsible for that, for sustaining her. And she looks healthy. She doesn't look like she needs us to call any kind of service. She doesn't need an emergency intervention, which is great. So it's good to get out there with the daughter, with the friends. So that'll be the next episode, talking about that. August. You want me to tease August already? Nah, dude. We're going to take it nice and slow. For now, that's all I got. So thanks for listening. Thank you for watching. And we'll talk to you next time, which will be sooner than you think, okay? Adios, muchachos.